So in this presentation, I'm going to discuss things that I found meaningful this semester. Everything we've done in the class has been beneficial for me as a future educator, and I know it's made me a better future teacher, and I feel more prepared to teach reading and literacy to my students. So the first thing I want to talk about is tutoring. I really enjoy tutoring. When we first started out and we were watching all the videos that were required, I don't know about you guys, but I felt overwhelmed by it all because there was just so much information and I was worried about if I was going to remember it all. So what I did was I saved some of the videos, the YouTube videos, like I would put a link and a bookmark so I could come back to them later, and I just wrote down as much information as I could so I could go back and remember it all. They were such great videos, and I really appreciate the time that Dr. Broma Miller put into making them and making sure we really understood everything that we were learning. The resources that were available to us were also really amazing. I especially really enjoyed the Florida Research Site because it had so many great resources on it, especially with all the different fluent types of things that we were supposed to be teaching the students, like fluency, comprehension, phonological awareness, etc. I don't know if you guys all had a time to check out that website, but I personally, I taught a first grader, I tutored a first grader, and I hope to one day teach kindergarten or first grade, and the things that I printed off could work for kindergarten or first graders. So I laminated them and I put them in different folders, and I wrote on the outside of the folder like fluency or comprehension, and then I put the name of the activity that I did as well, so that I could come back to them later and work with, if I'm in teaching a kindergarten or first grade classroom, I can just pull it out and work with a student. So I really, really, really like this website. I think there was so much great things on it, and I hope to go back to it later on and print off other resources as well because of how many amazing things that were on this website. Another thing I'll talk about how I know we've created a lot of lesson plans this semester, and I don't know about some of you guys, but in the beginning I felt like I was a pro at making lesson plans. But by the end of this semester, I feel like I am actually now a pro because before I wrote a lesson plan, but I guess I've never really built off that lesson plan over several different assessments. And I really enjoyed being able to do that and writing pre-assessments or writing about the pre-assessments and writing about what we we're going to do for formative and post-assessments as well. I also felt like as I went along, I got to think of so many different types of strategies and techniques for each lesson, and my classroom management techniques got bigger and bigger as I went through the semester, just thinking about different ideas that I could use in the classroom. And I'm really big on classroom management techniques. I really think they're beneficial for a classroom, so I was really excited about this. When it was finally time to work with my student, I was nervous and excited. I was worried about would I see any improvement? Would they like the lessons that they're doing? But overall, I really enjoyed the experience of working with my student. I'm working at an after school program, so I was able to work with my student one-on-one and not over a computer. In the past, I've substituted a lot in classrooms, but I feel like working one-on-one with a student really made an impact when I've subbed in classrooms in the past, and it still made impact talking to several students at once. But I just feel like when I got to sit down and work with this student one-on-one, they understood a lot more, and I was able to know what they didn't understand because they were able to tell me more so than I guess in a bigger group, because sometimes I feel like students hold back more if they don't understand when they're with their peers. I also really liked getting to use the pre-assessments like Dibbles and the QPS because they helped me realize what the student needed to work on. And I think it was a great way to test to see what they know and what they should work on. And I really just like these type of pre-assessments to assess the students. Another thing that I wanted to discuss were heart words. I had never heard of heart words before. I mean, I know the words, but I've never heard of them being called heart words. So I appreciate the fact that we were able to given a website to help the students learn about these words and how to spell the words. Another thing I want to talk about were the sound walls. I really liked doing the sound walls. They were kind of time consuming, but I feel like They were a great resource for us to make. They're just so different than the traditional sound wall or the traditional word wall. I don't know if any of you guys have seen word walls in the classroom, but I've seen them a lot in kindergarten classrooms. I don't know if I've seen them as I've gone up in grades, but I've seen sound walls in a couple classrooms before, and they've both been in first grade classrooms. And one of the first grade classrooms, hers was kind of confusing because she had put a bunch of different like ribbon trying to separate it out, and it was a little more confusing that I feel like than what we created. Another teacher just laminated different pages that had like lips together and the different sounds when your lips are together that they make. So I still think that ours is different. I like the one that we created, and overall I think it was really beneficial. I had never made one before, and I was glad I was able to do it because I really like the idea of displaying these around in the classroom on a bulletin board or wherever so that my students can see how to pronounce different sounds and words and so that they can make sure that they are doing it correctly. The last thing I wanted to talk about was the Reading Rise workshop. I really liked that we had this opportunity to do the Reading Rise workshop. I don't know how many of you guys decided to do this rather than take the final, but I felt like I learned so much from it. I even printed off the syllabus that was on the Reading Rise workshop to go back to it later. I just think that there was so many great information. I also hope to go back through the Reading Rise workshop website later on because there was just so much information that I hope to be able to go back through it and remember more of it later and learn more about it all. The one thing that I had never done before, which I liked learning about, was marking letters and marking words in the Reading Rise workshop. I've seen teachers do this before, and I wasn't quite sure exactly what it was. And so when I was working with students like on sight words that they had been marked, I wasn't sure what all the markings that they had underneath. So this explains so much. And one thing that they do is like blends. They make so much more sense now. When they put the curve underneath the letters to show that each letter keeps its own sound, makes a lot more sense. I guess I never just even, I realized it, but I just didn't think about it. But a good way to remember are the vowels that go with the letters C and K, because they make the same sound, or normally A, O, and U go with C, and I and E normally go with K. And I guess that when I was looking at this, it was like, oh, duh, I guess I never really realized this. It's a good way to help students realize that which letter, which C or K, since they make the same sound, it can be kind of confusing which goes with which vowel. So one last thing I wanted to discuss was the phonetic skills. I don't know about you guys, but I found them so helpful, and I plan to post them for myself in the classroom and for other students to help them know if a vowel is long or short in different words normally. Overall, there was just so much in this that we learned this semester, and I could go on and on about. But these are the main things I wanted to discuss. I really enjoyed this course, and I learned so much from it.